What happens when a group of lifelong besties trades middle school crushes for midlife hot flashes? You get a lot of laughs, a little bit of venting, and a whole lot of heart. We've survived cross-country moves, career shifts, and changing gene sizes together. Now we're tackling the invisible years, from the frustration of medical mysteries to the joy of deep-rooted sisterhood. We're here to brainstorm, de-stress, and remind you that you aren't going through this alone. Because at the end of the day, we're more than just a support group. We are friends, period.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the conversation. This is Friends, period. Pull up a chair and join us, where nothing is off limits and everything is real. We are lifelong friends navigating this stage of life together, and we're so glad that you're here with us. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder, we are not medical professionals. We're just sharing our personal journeys, bumbling through life together, using each other as crutches to support us and sounding boards. So please use your own judgment and always check with your doctor before trying any of the supplements or health routines that we talk about. We realize that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, hence why we are all bumbling through this together. So I am Megan.
I'm Erin.
Hi, I'm Colleen.
Hi, I'm Tara.
And I'm Lisa. And ladies, I am going to give us a blast from the past. So in the beauty of moving, I have located, and for those of you watching, I've located our high school yearbook.
You mean you've
no.
unearthed it?
Yes, unearthed
From the
it.
crypt.
An archaeological dig has been completed.
That should be in a time capsule buried somewhere.
Right.
Exactly.
And I'm not, with all this lead up, I'm not sure if I'm going to feel inspired by it or inspired to bury it again.
Well,
let's see.
we're gonna try to tie it in a little bit. So I'm not going to show any pictures. So if you happen to be listening to us driving along, don't fret. You're not missing anything visually.
You already put those on Facebook.
I did.
Anyone who hasn't seen our social media lately, you want to see some old pictures with very big hair, check out some of
Welcome to the hair.
at least my hair was very big.
So there's a section in our yearbook called In the Future. And I only prefaced it before we started recording that each one of us has a prediction as to what we will become when we are adults, I assume. And it's alphabetical, and none of us recall doing it. None of us recall writing it.
Do we know who
I'm the
wrote
only one
them?
that has read it recently. So I'm about to unveil
And we didn't write them about ourselves, right? Other people.
Not to my knowledge, because
Did them
when I
for
read
us.
mine one, I was like, I wouldn't have said that, but
Yeah.
there we go. So we're going to go alphabetical order, and we're going to start with Erin. Erin will become her own one-man band.
That checks.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, that does track. All right, good.
Not so scary. Okay, some of the pressure's off.
Yeah, exactly. How many instruments do you play?
Oh, geez.
And how many can you play at the same time?
Like 4 or 5. Yeah.
There you go.
I can at least play guitar and sing at the same time.
All right, you're a band. One-man band. Check.
Our next two are actually right next to each other, just like they are on our screen right now. We're actually in alphabetical order, just by the way.
Of our maiden names.
Yeah. So Colleen will grow fingernails.
Oh, no. Nope.
Wait,
Didn't
what?
happen. It didn't happen. That is very random. I guess I've always been a finger biter, and no. The only way I ever have nails is if they're, let's say, not real, like they are right now. Yeah. So whoever wrote that failed. So we're 1-1 right now.
Okay. I like that we're keeping score.
Yeah.
In the spirit of the World Cup, we're keeping score.
Yes.
Okay. Our next one says Tara will be seen without Suzanne.
Oh. Well, and that's true just because of geography.
Yes.
Oh, and it's funny.
Yeah.
I just checked, and Suzanne's doesn't say that she'll be seen without you.
Okay.
It says that she will acquire a Boston accent. So,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which
Pretty sure
So
that
for,
pretty sure that didn't happen
listeners.
either.
for our listeners, this was our friend Suzanne, who was originally from Chicago and now lives in
2 and 1.
San Diego.
Mhm.
all right. Next up, we have Megan. This one made me laugh.
Oh boy.
Megan will find a good boy.
Oh.
Oh, and
I
you did.
did. You did. It took a long time, guys, but I did.
We had to
Love
kiss a
it.
couple of dogs, did we?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, so
Those,
we're
I think-
3 and 1. All right.
A lot of the notes in my shoebox, I think, were the subject was some of those
Not so
frogs
good
from back in the day.
You're being nice, Erin.
The last one is going to require me to reveal my maiden name because it's a part of the prediction. So my maiden name was White, like the color. And it says Lisa White will change her name to Lisa Caucasian in the epitome of political correctness.
Wow.
And as a teacher and a coach who still doesn't swear, who's still like, I cringe when my students say shut up or suck. Like those words are not allowed in my classroom. They're not allowed on my team. I've even had players that'll be like, Coach, just swear at me once. And I'm like, no. So I think that tracks a little bit. I would say that that's true, although I did not change my name that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
not extreme.
That's
All right, well,
pretty creative.
Clearly lost that one, and you're all a bunch
Wow.
of winners. So that's where we are with that. Yeah.
But Colleen, you know, with your line of work, you have to have short nails because of Board of Health and
Right.
whatnot, right?
Yeah. So the
It's
Board of
easier.
Health would love for me to chew my nails. Yes. It's not
Well, no.
fun at all. I picked
Yeah,
my
but you can't have those. You can't have long, witchy, crazy
I-
nails.
Do you
'cause-
remember that back at like Guinness Book of World Records? They
Oh,
have a
gosh.
lady with like
Ugh.
to like, well, so gross.
I do
Yeah,
find that
yeah.
disgusting. So, you know, no, mine
Yeah.
are short and clean. And then once in a while, when I want to have fun and be a girly girl, I do the fake nails for a little bit. So, yeah, that's fine. I'm glad everyone knew me so well. And apparently my hands were famous for bad reasons, but that's okay. Won't be a hand model
Same.
anytime soon. I get it.
Hey, I never have nails either, just because I can't. I don't know how like Dolly
Wow.
Parton plays guitar because she always has such long nails, and I can't do it. I need them nice and short.
One
was
man
afraid.
band lady cannot have nails. I get it. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I
know,
even
it's
notice when I'm
fun.
typing, sometimes my nails get too long, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I gotta cut my nails, or I can't type
too.
anymore.
Yes.
I don't like when
Yeah,
they start
yeah.
clacking.
Yes.
I don't know how people who do those super long nails and they type, I don't know how they do that.
No idea.
To me, it would feel terrible, but
No idea.
we digress. Thank
We
you for
do.
that,
So-
Lisa. There's a whole lot of
That was fun.
Anytime.
Lisa, you mentioned the World Cup, and that's fitting because our topic for tonight was sort of my suggestion, and it's all about goals. And the thing that brought that to mind was I actually saw a story about Cristiano Ronaldo, who plays for Portugal. He's, you know, I'm sure everybody has heard that name, but he's you know, the superstar football player, or as we call it, soccer. And he's like won all these things, he's all these accolades, and the one thing that he's been chasing is a World Cup title. And when his team was eliminated, you know, he was asked, well, you know, how do you feel? Because he's also close to retirement age, so this is going to be his last chance at the World Cup. So they asked him, you know, how do you feel about this one goal in your career never being achieved? And I just really liked his answer. He said, you know, he's okay with it because he looks at his whole career. He doesn't focus on just one thing that he didn't achieve. And he said, let me read it. He said, quote, "I won't become a better Cristiano if I win the World Cup, and I won't become a lesser Cristiano if I don't." And he said, you know, he has no regrets in his career because he he always maximized his efforts and he always gave it everything he had. And I just thought, like, what is Zen? Like, that's just such a great way to look at it. He's not overlooking all these other things that he achieved in his career because, or dismissing them because of this one thing that he didn't achieve. And he's not letting it haunt him. You know, he's able to go off into retirement, proud of what he did, and not dwelling on, like, you know, the white whale. I never got the World Cup. Right. So it just got me thinking about goals. And just to start the conversation, the question I had for you ladies, do you think when it comes to goals, does the pursuit matter more than achieving the goal? So do you take Ronaldo's stance, or do you think that, you know, it's the achievement that matters?
You know, I don't think I'm exactly answering your question, but the thing that kept ringing through my brain as you were reading about his perspective, which I fully respect, and I think it's admirable, and it's something that hopefully future generations can see and hear and absorb. But I think that's one of the things that makes it so difficult, especially for women and women of our age group when we're setting goals for ourselves, because I think that's what you're getting at, like at this point in our lives, or maybe as we've been young professionals moving through up to this point in our lives, you know, what are the difficulties? But I think one of the things that we tend to do is we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. And what is perfect, and how unobtainable is that really from a logical perspective? For most of us, perfection is not reachable. So I think sometimes that's a barrier for us to even either set the goal or let it live long enough to achieve the goal, because we're turned off by the fact that we can't be perfect in our achievement of it. So I think his perspective was amazing. What you can say you've reached your goals without having perfection along the way. So sometimes I think we look at those things as not going together. It's either you've been perfect and reached your goal, or you haven't reached your goal at all. And he had a way of explaining it that those two things can be true together. So anyway, I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I think some of it comes with maturity too. Like, Erin, when we were kind of like, you had me thinking about goals, you know, success, goal setting looked different at 18, 25, 35 than it does today. And I think, you know, someone like him who's had the opportunity to kind of look back and be a little introspective, it's like, well, no, it's not. That's really not what it's about. But I feel like you have to go through some of the journey and gain some maturity along the way to kind of to get that perspective. I wasn't the type of person that had that perspective at 25. But when you kind of have a moment to look back a little bit, I think you can. Like, I think, you know, the phase of life we're in, it's really not about, like, at least for me, like setting these huge achievements where I'm like, you know, gonna conquer the world, but it's more about kind of like coming back to myself, my previous experiences, and then figuring out how to do the best that I possibly can with that.
I'm trying to like decipher my own goals as far as being a human, and then my sports related goals, because I kind of have different perspectives from that. And I heard a similar response from a basketball player. I honestly don't remember who he was, but a reporter had asked kind of like, are you upset with the failure, not making the playoffs or whatever the situation was? And he was like, it's not a failure. It's feedback. It gives me an opportunity to take a different path. He said, no one's looking at Michael Jordan and saying, you know, he won 6 championships. Does that mean every other year that he played was a failure because he didn't win the championship? No, nobody would ever say that. No one's going to say that to Tom Brady. You know, that the years they didn't do well were failures. They were just steps along the way. And I was putting myself back into a situation where I was coaching, and I had an amazing group of young women on my team, And we went to the playoffs, the second to last round of the playoffs, and we lost. The following year, we went one step further and lost. So then if we followed that track, we would have gone all the way to the state finals and lost if we did the same pattern. And we ended up winning. But what was unbelievable, a group of high school girls, they got into the bus after winning the state finals, and they were like, "Can we have practice tomorrow?" And I was like, "Well, no, the season's over. You just won the ultimate game." And they were like, "No, but we want to come back to practice." Like they didn't. That was the journey for them. They wanted to be a team. They wanted to be together. And it was tougher on the seniors because obviously it was truly their last day. But we actually did have like a mini practice. And they taught me a lot about it's not always just the win. It's not always just the final, like, yes, you want to get to that World Cup. Yes, you want to get that trophy. But it's also about the relationships you have along the way that can make a difference. Because now I think I fight harder because they taught me that. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's oftentimes a goal will evolve along the way too. So you start out thinking it's going to be one thing, and then because of those experiences and what you learn along the way, then it's like, oh. And then I think you realize sometimes I never would have achieved that goal, for whatever reasons. And, this was always what it was meant to be, in hindsight.
Goals aren't a pass fail.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's something we learn. I think in our, at least for me in my 20s, you got out of college and you're like, this is where I need to be in a year, or this is where I need to be in 5 years. And anything short of that was, I don't know if we use the word failure, but it was a disappointment. It was not what we were looking for. And we felt that we hadn't achieved something important. But now I think we look at it like, I'm so glad certain things along the way haven't worked out, because it led me to wherever it led me to, and now where I am. So, but those aren't teachable things, I don't think. You can tell our kids, Tara and Erin, we all have kids that are of the age that should be listening to those things. And I don't think that they will take them to heart. I think you have to say them and they have to hear it. And then in maybe 10 years or so, it'll kind of click. And like, that's what my mom was talking about. But they are going to do the same things that we did. But now at this point in our lives, I think goals are fluid and meant to change, and you're meant to learn things and make you reroute. And it's like, the proverbial highway of, I took this exit, but it led me to this really cool place. And I'm so glad I got to see the sights along the way. I personally, when I left my career and I thought I was going to open my business and I saw it going this way and that way, and I would end up somewhere else. It's definitely changed along the way, and I love it. And it's not what I pictured, but I think it's where I'm supposed to be right now. So I think those are the things that come with age and maturity, and they're not teachable, but
I agree with everything that everybody has said. And I'm actually glad that the topic kind of went in this direction, because in the group chat, when we were kind of like talking about this being a topic for tonight's podcast, I was like, everybody's going to come and they're going to be like, yeah, here are my goals. And they're like, I got a 5-year goal. I got a 10-year goal. And like, I feel like I just kind of had to make peace with that's just it, at least in a career. I think I just had to make peace with that is something that I think I learned early on. Like I don't have a desire to be a CEO. Like it just comes with a whole host of, I like being in the weeds more, I like the details. I'm ambitious. I want to be challenged. I want to feel like I'm contributing, like I want all of that, but being the next CEO of my company is not part of my goals. And so, and then I think a lot of the stuff that kind of, fills my cup comes from other things. Like I was trying to think of like, okay, well, did I have a different goal that wasn't career oriented? And I think it was a couple of years, I don't know, maybe it was like probably like 2018. I had started hiking, and there's 48 4,000-foot mountains in New Hampshire. And I was like, I'm going to hike them all. And I'm going to give myself, considering they're all about 2 to 3.5 hours away, I was like, I'm going to give myself 4 years to do it. And I was able to do it. And then I was like, okay, now what's my next goal? And I was like, I think I'm going to do it again. Because it was fun, you know, and it was just, it gives you like a reason to go up and a reason to be like, okay, well, last time I did this trail, let's try a different trail, you know, like, I don't know.
I hate the word goals, and I hate the word, like I've almost come to resent the whole idea of goal setting. I had a boss for a very long time who was all about goal setting, and we'd have meetings to set goals, and we'd you know, every review that we did with every employee was goals, goals, goals. And I get it. You need to have a vision for the future, and you need to have expectations for yourself, and you need to have standards for yourself that maybe grow every year. But the word goals got so overused for me that it exhausted me mentally. And finally, I wanted to look at him and say, my goal is to get through today and go home to my family and live my life, because unlike you, this is not my life, you know? And so Megan, I totally hear what you're saying. It's, you know, being everything to everyone at your job is not necessarily what everybody wants. What most of us want is that's our means to an end. That's our paycheck to go on and live our life and have something outside of that. And not all of us want to have that CEO mentality of goal setting from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and going home and dreaming about our goals and then going back and living them the next day. I got to resent the word and the term so much that it's, you know, to me, it's almost PTSD talking about it, but I like this perspective of goals. I'm okay with it.
What are your SMART goals, Colleen?
You had to say. Those are the worst.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And you know, it makes you think how much, about how much is put on us and we're made to think like this should be your goal, but it's really just like pressure from our parents, from society, from social media, from our spouse, like from all these other places, when it's really the things that we generate ourselves that, as you said, Meg, fill our cups. Like those are the things that I get, you know, Meg, you set that goal to do all those hikes, and it was so fun and it made you so happy that you did it again. And it's okay to have the same goal if it's the thing that's making you, you know, want to live life and enjoy being here, you know.
I now know that I love happy goals.
Yeah. I mean, not to say it's not, you know, obviously we all have jobs to do and we have to have goals and whatnot, but are they, you know, what are the goals that are for ourselves and what are the goals that we have to spend so much time achieving for others, or because others expect us to?
Yep. And I think the definition, or the way that, you know, I think you were talking a little bit about achievement, Megan, and then Colleen, you said something about peace, and it kind of made me start thinking, like, at what point, like there was a point where I probably stopped chasing achievement by its standard definition, and my goals really started to like really be a lot more about peace than they were about this like chaotic or like rapid fire, like get things done, and really kind of like using that experience, win, lose or otherwise, to kind of like, I don't, you know, searching for things that are a little bit more peaceful.
You know, I just visualized your duck from the last episode becoming a swan.
Oh,
very zen moment.
Yeah. Well, I think it and that ties back a little bit to what Erin was talking about earlier about women in general. I think a lot of us tie our worth to productivity, and productivity is achievements and goals and all of that kind of stuff. And so it all kind of links together. And it's, you know, Colleen, like you, like, I don't even know if we were recording or before we were recording, but you were talking about like taking some rest today. Like, and you're like, oh, it's kind of like, even the way you posed it, that's okay. You should
I know.
absolutely 100% do it, but you felt a little guilty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's like, so those are the types of things that maybe those should be our goals.
Yeah.
Like my goal is to rest for 30 minutes today.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're
You
right,
know?
Tara. Then as moms too, it's like our goals become being able to raise our kids to be adults that are not, you know, in jail and, or, you know,
Good
it's
goal.
just like good citizens and good people and getting them through college. And so our goals become not even about us at all.
Mm.
Yeah. I think that's part of the transition too. Like we were, you know, like I kind of mentioned earlier, like they look different at 35 than they do at 50.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of us have talked about it on multiple podcast episodes and outside of that, like there's a peacefulness to our lives at this point that, you know, we want to kind of use what we learned and work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And try and work some of that peace in. Like, let's enjoy what the heck got us here.
Right.
Yeah, and I definitely
absolutely.
say
We'll try
I have to try at that, like
too.
you've noticed, because a lot of times at the end of the day, I'll look back and it's almost like my own little, without knowing that I'm doing it, my own little personal report card. What did I get done today? And how productive was I? And it's like, I feel pride in that. And like you said, it's okay to put aside some quiet time or to say, you know, today I still did some productive things, but I made sure, and I have to tell you that my husband is somewhat responsible for that. He went out today and he said, please relax while I'm gone. Because he knows me. Like, I'll try to be the Energizer bunny and like, how much laundry can I get done? What can I clean? What can I fix? What can I schedule? What can I order for work? Like, it's okay to slow down a little. And I think, I don't know what point I was brainwashed with that, but I do need to unbrainwash myself for my own sanity and peace. I like that.
It's
and
really
peace.
hard.
It is.
Yeah.
That should be a goal. Like,
Yes.
is to try and do that. But, you know, I think someone was saying to me a little while ago, like, instead of like setting a goal for a day or a goal for a week, and phrasing it like that, Colleen, so you don't use the word goal at all, and just say, what is one thing today I'm going to say yes to, and what is one thing I'm going to say no to?
I like that.
I like that too.
Like,
Yeah.
so rather than what am I going to get done today? Because what about if you don't do anything? And that's okay. But
And you say
know,
yes to not doing anything. I like
that. So phrase it like that instead of using the word goal. It's like, what's one thing that's a yes today, and what's one thing that's a no today?
You know, that could be a whole nother episode too, is saying no. I don't know about you guys, but that's always been a challenge for me.
No,
let me just say yes to everything.
Right.
And totally bury myself psychologically, physically, and otherwise. Like, there's just only so much time in the day. And when did we decide that women had to say yes to everything to feel like they were doing something right? Where sometimes you're taking better care of yourself and your family when you say, no, don't have time for that. That's not my priority.
Yep.
And
you know, we have to give our
doing nothing become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
I know we have to.
I did it today, and I did it before we hit record, that I was like, I had to like justify even to you guys. Oh, and I went to the pool. And I went, like, I feel guilty because everybody else is at work and I'm not at work. And then when I get back into work, then I feel kind of normal that I'm doing as much as everybody else does. But I spent, you know, a good 20 years of my career working 3 jobs during every season. And it is okay to be like, I've made it to this point, and it's okay that I sleep in. It's okay that I went and bought a coffee instead of making my own coffee. Like, I can have a day of nothing. But I still have to work through those, like,
because we're conditioned.
Dialogue.
We're conditioned for this hustle culture, and we have to give ourselves some grace. There's always going to be the next thing to do. There's always going to be some other goal that we set, whether because we want to or we have to, and we have to be okay with, you know, taking a breath and just like settling and being present and not always thinking like 12 steps ahead and, oh no, I'm not meeting my metrics and, you know, whatever.
Actually listened to an episode this morning of a podcast, and it was a bit of a call to action. So I'm going to share it with all of us, and maybe everybody else would join us. And it was looking at your days for a moment of awe, AWE. What is something that brings you awe? And the person that was talking about it is a mom to 2 young kids. And she said that like her kids crawled into bed with her at like 5:45 in the morning. And she immediately was like annoyed and like, the sun's not up. Like, why are you guys here? And she said that she was proud of herself for taking a step back and being like, I'm never going to get this back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to have my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old and all of us together, you know, smiling and happy and giggly. And she said it's okay to be, you don't have to spend money, you don't have to go anywhere, you can just be in awe of something that's happening. And I thought, I'm going to try that today.
Mm-hmm.
So I share that with all of you as well. Like, we all talked about it, peace and doing things for us. And maybe that's something that we share more often. Or what are the things we're saying yes to? What are the things we said no to? And what are the moments that give us that peace?
I think as women, partners, mothers, friends, sisters, you know, all of the above, we're always doing things. At least this group of people, for other people.
Right.
Like, and we don't put ourselves first ever. Like, there's always something, someone that needs to come before us. And I think that part of that, like what you were, like we were talking about things being uncomfortable, that's that same uncomfortable area where it's like, wait a minute, doing something for myself, resting, like do anything, like why, you know, I just, you know, I think we're all getting to the age where we're like, wait a minute, maybe I should think about myself every once in a while, as uncomfortable as that is.
Those loved ones around us want us to have anything left of ourselves to give. We better take care of ourselves a little bit, right?
True.
Yeah.
Correct. And I find myself falling victim to the, you know, the myth that I tell myself of, well, the more that you can get done now, the easier like
Later
the week will be, tomorrow will be. But like Erin was saying, like there's always going to be something. And so like I would find myself like working on a Saturday or a Sunday because I wanted Monday to be more manageable. It didn't happen that way. You're like, because I didn't know Monday had planned for me, you know, so you're just kind of like, I'm just chasing my tail, you know,
Well, that's
hard.
More society that we live in. So we're just making room for more. And sometimes I think we need to make room for less. So
I like that.
Definitely. Tara, you mentioned that uncomfortable, you know, being uncomfortable with the things that we're supposed to be doing. And it just made me think of, I think, Colleen, I think in the last pod, you were talking about feeling like you have less patience and things bothering you more. And I think that applies here too. I know, like, I really am starting to feel uncomfortable with that hustle, you know, as we were saying that, like, there always has to be something, like always have to be doing and going. And I think of it though, as being less about getting older and getting grumpier, you know, and more about like having a better understanding of, you know, who we are and like what really matters to us, and having that perspective. And we're spending less energy pretending that we're okay with things that don't actually feel okay, you know, and going through those motions. I think what, you know, whether, you know, not to be like all like woo woo about it, but, you know, whether you're thinking about it psychologically or energetically, we all have like an internal frequency or an internal rhythm that, when our circumstances match sort of that rhythm or that frequency, things feel good, things feel easy. And then when they don't, we really notice it because it feels uncomfortable, it feels off. And it's just like all about coherence. And when, you know, what we think, what we feel, how we live, what we value, when all that lines up, you know, the things that don't align are just harder to ignore. And I don't know, I think it just gives us the invitation to ask ourselves, why doesn't this fit anymore? You know, and why am I, you know, I don't know. I guess it's just like we've outgrown old versions of ourselves, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know, and it's okay. It's okay to be no longer comfortable with what we used to make ourselves be comfortable with. That was kind of a long-winded tangent, but
No, you're right.
I think just what I'm
total
saying
sense.
is like it's okay. Yeah, we don't have to be constantly like we should always have goals. You know, we can always, you know, be trying different things. But I think the important thing is focusing now as we get older on the things that really recharge us and, you know, give us life and, you know, living for ourselves.
You guys have all taught me tonight that I need to rethink the word goal and I need to make it a more positive thing because it definitely, and I'm not even
gonna work on that.
Definitely taken a negative connotation for me throughout the years. So I'm going to start thinking about mountains in New Hampshire when I think of the word goals and it being Megan's happy place and that goals can be happy.
Did you all hear that? What was that?
Did.
So we just had something with our house kind of come through on a text message and I can't figure out how to turn it off on my screen. So I keep trying to hit mute and it's not working. But it's like several different people texting and I can't tell everybody to stop.
There's a goal, Lisa. Figure out how to.
It was good. I am going to plug in right here, though, that we are human beings, not human doings.
I love that.
Yes. So we can just be.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe this midlife part isn't about like setting and reaching these like crazy new goals where we like transform into this something new. Maybe it's using the confidence and the knowledge that we gained to really like come back to what it should be or we want it to be, you know, something a little bit more peaceful, as hard as that is. We're all going to have to help each other be uncomfortable. Because I know all of us are sitting here cringing right now.
Sitting on our hands.
On the screen, like,
but you're right. Because we know ourselves well now versus being in our 20s and trying to still find ourselves and figure out, you know, who we are, what we stand for and all those things. And to your point, Tara, we can sit back now and be like, yeah, like I know what I want for myself a little bit more than I did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, yesterday.
I saw it's funny that just last night before we settled on a topic, I was some Instagram reel and it was like this, you know, I follow all these midlife 40 women, you know, reels and she was just like, no, I'm not sorry. No, I'm not this. No, I'm not that. Like, just nope. I'm my own being. I raised X kids. I've had 2 spouses. I'm doing that. Like, and she's just like, nope, just don't. Like, and I've seen a lot of that on reels, just like, pardon my French, but just, I don't give a shit. Like, sorry.
I'm on this.
You like it or you don't.
I've been on the sidelines watching a lot of that and reading a lot of those little mini stories that come up in groups and the IDGAF groups. And I love watching and reading them, but I can't figure out how to do it. Like, I love the idea of it, saying, you know what, I don't give a crap and I'm going to sit back and relax and enjoy my life. But like you said, Tara, we have to support each other and help each other figure that out, because that's, to me, that's the magic. That if I would love to say that I don't care and I'm going to tune out the world and focus on my peace, but I would be lying through my teeth. But I'd love to get at least like a quarter of the way there. So if you guys,
I bet you'd be surprised. I bet if you thought about, because I've noticed it in little things in my own life, in my own world. And, you know, my husband or one of the kids will ask me a question. I'm like, because I can, because I'm an adult. And I can do what I want to do. And
this is what I'm saying no to today.
Yes.
I like that. I'm going to learn that from you. Okay.
Well, that can be our assignment. That can be our assignment this week. Yes.
What are we saying no to?
Well, maybe just
find something.
Being more purposeful or having more intent with our yeses and nos.
Having boundaries, you know?
Boundaries.
Like what's our, and speaking up for ourselves, standing up for ourselves a little. Yeah. Yeah, boundaries would be a good one.
That makes me uncomfortable, having boundaries.
Next time, Megan, you're up.
That's why she goes to the mountains, because there's the boundaries. No,
yeah, exactly. No cell phone service.
Right. That's funny. All right. Well, you guys are all amazing. I will say that it will always be a goal of mine to talk about our next episode. So we'll definitely be doing that over the next few days. And for those of you who have been listening and have any advice for us as to how to better negotiate our boundaries with our loved ones and those peripheral people in our lives. That's my dog, by the way. If you just heard, she's part beagle, so she's just deciding that she's going to be part of this right now. Work on those boundaries as well. She has vocals. I mean, she has something going. But anyway, I think we all definitely need to prioritize working on those boundaries and those yeses and those nos. But in the meantime, I will always say yes to all of you for anything and everything. So thanks for being my friend, period. And to those of you out there in listening land who have some ideas or thoughts to share, we have Lisa who's working really hard on our socials. So go chime in on any of those platforms and share the word with all of your friends that we're here to make more friends. So for tonight, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye everyone.
Night.